So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my video. I just want to say this is Cucklover447, and I have seen an alarming trend on the internet. All of these people coming out and saying that they don't want to play as a female character in a fantasy game about the Middle Ages or feudal Japan is really harming to my person, and I think it just shows that there's a systemic institution of structural racism and sexism in the United States, and it is problematic, and it is really affecting me. These people have a preference that I don't like. They don't want to play as a female character. Can you believe these bigots? They're allowed to exist. Oh my god, it's affecting my person. I'm disappearing. How can they have a preference that I don't like? This is so troubling and problematic. How can they do that? Don't they know that women are the most incredible creatures on the planet? We have to worship women. We can't have preferences that don't include them as the main character, guys. Come on, what are we doing here? We've enlightened so much as a species. We're so much more advanced than we used to be. God, these fucking cucks. These degenerate, low-life, subhuman garbage. Oh my god. It drives me up a wall. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reiterate something that is so incredibly basic. It is okay to have a preference of not wanting to play as a female character in a certain IP or a certain franchise. I can't believe I actually had to say that. You simps and suckers and low IQ freaks have driven me to the point where I have to explain something that is so fundamentally basic. I'm going insane. You can play Stellar Blade and go, wow, that's a great game with a great main character. You can play Metroid. That's a great game with a great main character. You can play Bayonetta and say that's a great game with a great main character. All of them happen to be women. And then look at Ghost of Yotei and say, I don't want to play as a female character, and that's not a contradiction. And if you don't understand that, you're genuinely too stupid to be on the same internet as me. You should take your computer, take your electronics, throw it in the dumpster, and light it on fire. And I never want to see you again. You are too retarded to be part of my world. I do not want to acknowledge that we are the same species if you're too dumb and too low IQ and too virtue hungry to realize that you can have different preferences and different standards based on the situation. I do not ever want to play a game in medieval times that has to do with a female warrior dominating a bunch of guys. I want to play as a masculine knight. When I play Space Marines, I don't want to play as a female Space Marine. I want to play as the most masculine, badass, male character, dripping in testosterone, killing aliens, and fighting for the love of the Emperor. Do you understand? Not all franchises are the same. There is no one uniform thing here. It's called a preference. And if you want to know the specifics of why this has driven me up the fucking wall,
Okay. Do I have to play as a girl? Can I play as a guy?
based Asmongold, out of nowhere, Asmon asked the question, do I have to play as a girl? Which is exactly what I thought when I saw the trailer. Do I really have to play as a girl? I don't want to play as a girl. Now, if they wanted to have a girl as the default and then have an option as a guy, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I'd be like, whatever. It's not my ideal, but I would take it. But no. You can only have a female option if the male main character is the main option. Because you could have an option like male Shepard and female Shepard in Mass Effect, but what you can't do is have a female character and then a male character option. You just can't do that because now we want to enforce. We really want to enforce you playing as a female character. Well, my answer is no. And it's unfortunate because I love the setting of feudal Japan, but the two games that are coming out in feudal Japan, I'm not buying. I want no part of. Because I don't want to play as Yasuke, and I certainly don't want to play as this female ninja samurai here. So I can't believe I have to articulate this, but I do. Because it's important that you understand that there are people out there that will take any normal preference and try to twist it and turn it against you. Now, I'm going to show you a post from a different content creator. This time it's the Act Man. Now, full disclosure, I don't like the Act Man. I call him Lurch. I will also say that the Act Man is by far not the worst of these woke content creators. He's not the worst one. And I think the reason for that is that the Act Man is not the beginning of the human centipede. So, the Act Man is also not the tail end. He's somewhere around the middle, maybe towards the back. So, after the food has been processed and shit out and processed and shit out, the Act Man consumes it and then he gives his take, which is not the worst, but it's certainly not good. So, here's the Act Man responding to people talking about the voice actor for Ghost of Yotei being an out-of-their-mind, woke, narcissistic freak. And somebody that's gone on a blocking spree and said some pretty unhinged stuff. So here's what he says. If some random actress has blocked you on the site for seemingly no reason, there's a good chance you may be a huge cunt, and that's why. So basically taking this like pull up your ass, get pegged, cucked out of your mind sort of take here. I mean, that's just so pathetic. If some random, like, out of their mind, nut job, leftist piece of crap blocks you, well, it must be that you're a massive cunt. No. It means that they're a small-minded, pathetic, cultish freak. That's the more reasonable reaction. It's not the world, it's the one person. But you've got white knight cucks like this that write in and say, no, now the problem is you. But then the Act Man sort of reveals his true racism, where he compares two Asian women. And, oh, well, they're both Asian, they must be the same. The situation with Kelly Marie Tran is not at all what is happening here with, what the hell's her name? Erika Ishii. Erika Ishii is not the same as Kelly Marie Tran. Kelly Marie Tran was bullied out of Hollywood by Hollywood. And she came back to make a statement on that as much. That she was pressured into looks, into dieting. She was basically pressured into looking a certain way. But the Act Man is such a massive, flagrant pussy that he probably didn't know that and just thought that she was bullied online by all of the incels and other people that he doesn't like. But this person, Erika Ishii, is somebody that is blatantly toxic, blatantly hateful, ignorant, low IQ, low value, just a disgusting reprobate. And she's out there blocking people and as she's making insane comments. So it is perfectly reasonable for people to look at that and say, you know what, I don't want any of what this person is selling. I don't want any of what they are trying to put out there into the world. I'd rather just avoid them, or I'm going to criticize them till the cows come home. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with either of those. You can ignore this person, or you can criticize them. And then this white knight freak, this Lurch character. And by the way, if you don't know who Lurch is, and I want to point this out because I am so damn good on this. I am so damn good on this. If you don't know who Lurch is a character. Here we go. Tell me tell me that is not the most spot on. They're basically the same picture. They're basically the same picture. Post in the comment section below if you can tell me which one is the Ackman and which one is Lurch. Alright? Here's what it said. Come on. I can't be the only one to see it. But I actually don't mind the Ackman's estrogen-fueled random woke tirade against gamers and fans of nerd culture. He's not the worst one out there. Which is true. He's not the worst one out there. He doesn't have an original idea to save his life or his career. He's not somebody that will go out there first. He will wait for a reaction and then lob a woke, piece of shit at you from behind the mob. That's who he is, essentially. He's not going to be the first one out there to take, some kind of position. He's going to wait and then come out with something. So, my point in doing this video is that I think that it's extremely critical that more people be vociferous as possible about the fact that it's okay for you to have an opinion that these freaks on the internet don't like. They don't like the fact that you have an opinion and that you're willing to articulate it about female characters. For me, generally speaking, in this day and age, it's very rare for me to play a game or watch a movie that has a female lead character. This applies to anime, this applies to comic books, and the reason is not because I hate women, it's because I hate the women that these creators in this modern age write. I don't like them. I don't think that they're perfectly compelling or dynamic or interesting. I think they're far too girl boss. They get into that trope and trend of basically making them a Mary Sue, where they're invulnerable, where they're basically an outside influence in this world that's just a gravitational pull where every character, no matter how strong, no matter how empowered, no matter how integral to the world, they just sort of change everything. They're like a force of gravity, and not in a good way, like they're written to be. But they're so incompetently and haphazardly injected in that it's a steaming pile. So, yeah, I want to make that abundantly clear that there's nothing wrong with what Asmongold said. There's nothing wrong with what I said. There's nothing wrong with what anyone said as it relates to saying, I don't want to play as a female character. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly fine. Don't let any of these freaks try to shame you into compliance or gaslight you or do any of the sort. Because if you're in a position like that, my channel is here to act as a sanctuary city for people that have dissenting opinions. And don't just immediately jump into the white knight woke cuck tirade when I see something like this. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a shorter video. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you supporting the channel. And I'll see you next time.